Okay, and this round we have blue going first, and blue knows that he has 3 influence tokens, green has 0 and yellow has 0, so they're probably going to want to get some. So he's going to be sneaky again. He's going to use his guild action, and he's going to play it in the same location as the knight. He's going to pay his sulfur, get everyone drunk, and he's going to perform this Guildmaster action from the Knights Guild, where you take 3 influence markers of different colors. Clearly he's going to take green and yellow, and then he'll take the dummy. Then they get pushed here, and we have to complete rows and columns like we did before. I don't know. Either way, I mean, it's the same either way. You complete. Yeah, whatever. We're just going to do it like that. So, those don't go there. We get new royal seals. We place 3 of them out. We don't look at what the rosary beads were, so we've completed 1 row and 1 column, and 1 column and 1 row. So that's 2. For the second one, that's 5 points, plus a 3 bonus for using that feast action. So that's 8 more points. We go from 24 to 32, and he's just springing out into the lead. And that was the guild action for blue. Yellow has a different idea. He's going to go ahead and get ahead on his conquering. He's going to do that same starve the people action with this noble who has never moved, and think remove that, which may have been a good move, may not, because it gives this green player his influence token back. Now if he had a defend in his hand, which he doesn't, so this is an if situation. If there was a defend card in this player's hand, he would block the starve the people action by paying 1 food, and then he would take his little person who's here and put a royal seal underneath him saying, that guy's safe, he cannot be starved out. But that did not happen. He gets the influence token back, and play moves forward. Oh, and there are no points scored for a conquer action that is a starve the people, only a conquer action that is actual combat, but it does count for the military service track. And yellow is well ahead of the game for when we get further down the line and the king requests his vassals to do military service. Our green player, we're going to pretend that when he selected his cards that he had a saltpeter. This is a sulfur, but just for the sake of demonstration, we're going to pretend that he had a saltpeter. A saltpeter, you may have noticed I had 5 cards. Why did you have 5 cards? Well, because the saltpeter lets you take a 5th card, and we can dump that now or dump it at the end of the round. I guess the instructions say when you use it, so I used it when I took the 5th card. So what I'm going to do here to start this action up is I'm going to take the guild action, and I'm going to purchase for 3 shillings 1 more vessel. 1 gold, 1 shilling goes to the new guild master, yellow. 1 shilling comes back to me, my green character here, and 1 goes across the board into the church coffers. We're going to purchase a submersible, and we're going to place it right here with the monk. Why not? And then that is the end of that turn. Moving on to the blue player again. The blue player does have a defend card in his hand because he's afraid when the knight comes by that he might be attacking, especially when there's saltpeter in his hand. So he's got that in his back pocket. Until then, he's going to make a move, and he's going to boogie on down 1 and 2. Now, the monk could have gone a third movement, but he wants to be here. And I could have played it where the farmer moves 1, the monk moves 1. That's the 2 that they're allowed, 1 for each pawn on the board, and then the monk gets his third one to go there. But I kind of want this farmer to protect that farm a little bit. So we're going to leave the monk here and the farmer there. Moving back to yellow, we're going to jump into this improve action once again. Going to pay a king's seal to upgrade this town. We've seen this before. Boom. To a feudum. But which one? Well, I think he's going to go for the Merchants Guild, and I'll tell you why. Because he wants to push someone out of their lead position by jumping in with a guild, first of all. Secondly, he wants to be able to push some of these goods into a guild that he can also push out of and set up this cyclical economy. He's controlling a lot of the guilds by conquering and upgrading feudums and having multiple pawns on the board. So he wants to set that up. He would have liked to knock blue down a peg, but blue may be running out to an initial lead, but doesn't have any long-term action happening on the board. So he's a little less worried over the course of 5 epochs that blue is going to be as big a threat as he is at this moment. Meanwhile, green is spreading out across the board, and he's going to earn points every epoch for having a large empire. So in this case, he's helped out by taking away that merchant spot. And also, he wants to gain the benefit of the Merchants Guild. He wants to be able to purchase goods at a discount and to get money whenever anyone else buys goods. So, at this point, he has no influence markers, and the rulebook says if you have no influence markers, you can just remember. I'm going to put my Reeve there for now, but once you do get an influence marker, it goes straight to the guild status. So that's what happened there. He has upgraded in the hills, not the hills, the forest. He takes this upgrade token, which is also a landscape, which we've seen before, and gets the 4 points for upgrading to a feudum in the first epoch. So 4 more points to yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. And now we've achieved the requirement for moving on to Epoch 2, so we know for sure that this round we will be moving to Epoch 2 at the end of the round. And then we'll do beginning of epoch scoring. But we did know that that was going to happen anyway because the progress die always rolls. So, moving to our next player. We already had a plan for this guy. He's going to repeat. He's going to take the guild action again. Because if he wants to be able to influence locations, which is his goal, is to spread and influence, he's going to need more than this one measly marker. You cannot substitute a Reeve for an influence token out in the world. That's real influence. These are just markers. So what he's doing is he's taking his guild action by repeating. We've already played the guild when he bought the submersible, and he's repeating the guild action. Always in a different guild. He cannot do the same alchemist guild again. He has to go to a different guild. He's going to bring the cash. 1, once again, to yellow, who's our guild master. 1 to nobody, because there's no journeyman. And 1 to the farmer's purse. And what you do here is you pay your 3 shillings and you take an entire row of influence tokens. And this is how, another way, that these rows will become uneven so that when those crud barrels pass, it isn't just, oh, everyone gets filled up. No, they fill up at different rates because they are depleted at different rates. So he's got a bunch of influence tokens now thanks to his guild action. Blue has moved, and it's very simple now. You can't just play a defend card, you just hold on to it. So he's going to influence, and he's going to influence in the location that his monk is at, and he's going to protect here at his farm. So that was Blue's action. Yellow is now going to migrate a pawn out onto the board, and he's going to migrate a farmer in here with his knight, making this a very dangerous situation for this farmer. Not now because he doesn't have a conquer card left, but maybe in the future, 2 pawns on 1 can get somewhat dangerous. So he's migrated out, he's paying his food, and he's taking more influence. I don't know. I'll just use a sulfur that's yellow. He's taking more influence out here in the Farmers Guild. He's only the journeyman because Blue was already there. They have the same number of pawns, and in terms of farms which support the farmer, this pawn, even if they were tied, this would break the tie. But the fact that this blue pawn was out first gives it the lead there regardless. Next we have our recently influential green player is going to make a move. He's going to move just to here. So that's 1, and then this is 2, and then this is a river? Oh, that's a river. Maybe he won't move. I thought this might have been a road, but it clearly isn't. So he's just going to go there and only take 1 move action, one move space even. Last card for Blue is that defend card that he had and was holding on to. Does nothing except earn a point. You have a consolation prize for holding on to that defend card this whole time. Yellow will take this guild action, and his guild action will be to prepare for the future. He is going to purchase at the Merchant's Guild. He's going to buy 1 saltpeter for 2, and 1 sulfur, which he's going to go straight into his yellow trunk barrel for another 1, and then he will do 1 food just to get it in the bank there. And because he's the guild master, he had to show that he could afford all that, but since he's the guild master, he does get the first coin back. Second coin goes to our first journeyman, green player. Third coin goes across the board into the church coffer. Fourth coin back around to the guild master. And he could have afforded 1 more coin's worth of, let's say, food, but the action is you pay as many shillings as it costs for only 3 goods. So that was his final guild action. Now he's set up with plenty of food, sulfur in the barrel, a couple of irons, and 2 saltpeter. Now our green player, since he did use his saltpeter that we magically gave him before, he has 2 cards left at the end of the round and nobody else has any. So he's going to influence with immunity here. He's going to go influence, 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 and then he's going to take this explore action. This is the first time we're seeing the explore action. We didn't see the tax action, which has to do with towns. It kind of like the farm has the harvest action, the outpost has this explore action, and the town has the tax action, which is just collect 3 shillings, or collect shillings and an influence if you have a knight on the board. But we're looking at the explore action. So this is take 2 cards from the Royal Writ deck and discard 1. And for each additional outpost you have, you take another card to choose from, but you still only keep 1. So we are green here. Green has 1 outpost, 2 outposts. So that's 2 initial cards plus 1. 1, 3. We look at them, and we see that we're deciding what we want. Okay, so this is kind of what we were going for, a card that would bolster our strategy of expansion. There are cards in here that are end-of-game scoring, much like a Ticket to Ride destination ticket, or one of your contracts in Marco Polo or something, or in any game that has contracts. So this shows 3 locations, 2 of which we already hold here, we rule. This, I think, is called the Remote Locations Charter. So if you have 1 of these at the end of the game, you get 5 points. 2 of them, 11. 3 of them, 17. And then you have to place a royal seal on here to make sure that it's official. I think we're probably going to keep that one. That's a secret information. Some of the other ones you can choose are these charters, or these mandates. That was a charter. This is a mandate, and it's already sealed. You take it into your hand, and you can play it at any time. This one gives you +1 in your combat, or +2 if you have an iron. So that might be nice with a knight out on the board looking dangerous with his saltpeter, but we want those point-scoring ones. And this card earns you these goods, these whatever they are, items, a rosary bead, a noble seal, royal seal, or 3 influence markers for having this much status in these particular guilds. So that could be powerful to collect a bunch of resources. But we're going to discard both of these mandates and keep the charter. And that's the end of that round. Now, we all nourish our pawns. We're going to start with blue, who has 2 out there. He's going to pay his 2. Yellow, who has 3 out there, and ta-da, 3 food. And green. Well, green, you're down on your luck, huh? So green only has 1 food. Green is going to feed 1 of his pawns, and the other 2 come off the board, unfortunately. And with them go their influence. I don't even remember, that was a monk. So no more monk, not influence, guild standing. With them go their guild standing. No more monk guild standing, and no more merchant. And that was actually crippling because we're about to go into the next epoch when we actually score for having status in our guilds. I really kind of wish that didn't happen. But c'est la vie. Well, let's pretend he had 2 food. Since we're doing some pretending, we'll put the monk back, and we'll give him his status back in the Monk's Guild. Just to show the end of epic scoring, the beginning of epic scoring.